Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are at 8:30 here, so we're going to get the meeting started. Welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is Brian, and I am an alcoholic. This is a one-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street, Doylestown, PA. The food and the fellowship for this group starts at 8 o'clock, and the speaker comes on at 8:30. The business meeting for this group meets right here every Saturday, 7 p.m. to 7:30. Please feel free to join us, show up early, enjoy the refreshments. The purpose of this group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and service to others through the practice and teachings of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others can benefit from their message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new at this meeting for the first time or visiting from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name so we can welcome you? Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Jerry. I'm an alcoholic, first time here.
Welcome. Yeah. Frank, welcome. Yeah. Chris. Yeah, in the back there. Pam, welcome. Okay, we get everybody. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with a working knowledge of the 12 steps and that is willing to sponsor, please raise your hands. So there you go. If you are new, there's a lot of people here willing to sponsor. Hang out with us after the meeting. There's always a meeting after the meeting. We'd love to talk with you, get you into the solution a little bit. Are there any announcements from the floor for the good of AA? Nothing from anybody? A couple quick announcements from this group. This group has a sister group, which is a big book study meeting. Meets every Thursday at 7:30 just up the road here at Salem UCC Church, 186 East Court Street in Doylestown. The coffee's on at 6:15, so again, feel free to show up early and join us. We have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of big books and CDs to help those who cannot afford them can put their donations in that jar that's on the back table marked Big Book and CD Donations. All CDs are available free of charge. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown. We post all the speakers from this group on that page. We also post speakers from our Monday night meeting, which is a STEP speaker discussion meeting. That's at 6 o'clock Monday nights in the room right next to here. That meeting is also followed at 7:30 with an Al-Anon meeting right in this room right here. This group also has a Facebook page. You can use that. You can subscribe to our Facebook page. You can stay informed on upcoming speakers we have, as well as events this group puts on, workshops, celebrations, all kinds of groups from the area will post things that they have going on in there, so it's a good resource to have to stay tied in with happenings all throughout the AA area. And with that, I believe Kara is going to come up here. She's going to read our Just for Today Prayer of Recovery.
Good evening, y'all. My name's Kara, and I'm an alcoholic. Welcome home. Just for today, prayer of recovery. Just for today, I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress becomingly, talk low, act courteously, criticize not one bit, not find fault with anything, and not try to improve or regulate anybody except myself. And with that, I'd like to ask Michelle. She'll come up and read our preamble. Let's give Michelle a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm an alcoholic. Hi. The AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other. They may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. And I have asked Andrew to come up and read the AA 12 Steps of Recovery. Let's give him one welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrew and I'm an alcoholic. And these are the 12 steps of recovery. Number 1, we admitted we are powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and a fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, properly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and a power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all affairs. And with that, I would like to welcome Brian back up to introduce the speaker.
Okay, one more quick announcement I always forget to throw in there. This group does have a running commitment. It's a hospitals and institutions commitment. It's up in the Quakertown area, and that's on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. So if you'd be interested in doing that, again, you can see any home group member after the meeting. There's no time requirement, no obligation to speak or anything. If you just want to show up and help deliver a message of hope and recovery to some sick and suffering alcoholics, it goes a long way. So see me or any home group member after the meeting if you're interested in that. 7th tradition, every A group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. At this time, we'll pass the basket. There are no dues or fees for AA membership, but we do have expenses. Your contributions help to cover the cost of food, rent, big books, CDs, events, workshop, and the likes. There's absolutely no smoking on the church property. It's the church's policy. We get a great privilege to hold our meeting here every week in this facility, and they really just ask that we keep the premise clean. So if you could be considerate of that as you're coming and going from the meeting, we appreciate it. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. And now to introduce our speaker for tonight, a good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group on loan to us from the Miracle of Awareness Group of Duryea, PA. Please help me welcome Jerry.
Evening, everyone. I'm Jerry. I'm an alcoholic. I'm one of those alcoholics that recover from extremely hopeless state of mind and body by becoming awake to God's grace, staying awake, being sponsorable, being committed to a home group, and being available whenever AA calls upon me. My sponsor told me I had to be self-sacrificing because if an alcoholic failed to be self-sacrificing and help other alcoholics, you wouldn't survive those certain trials and low spots ahead. So that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? I don't know who's going to be helped tonight, but for me to drive 2 hours, that's self-sacrificing. I got a little blondie at home that I'd rather be with for her. So experienced right at home. I've been here before, so I'd always like to thank Ron and the group for asking me to come down. My story, I don't know. It is what it is, and if anyone's offended, see Ron. You know what I mean? So, when I came here, I had nowhere else to go. I went to rehab, White Deer Run, then they wanted me to go to a sober house. I went there, didn't want to go there. I had to go do 3 AA meetings a week and have the slip sign. When I went in there, man, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to chill out for a little while and go my happy way. Well, it didn't happen like that. I came in there and I started hearing people, my story was, a guy told my story and how good his life was. And you know, I wasn't the only one in despair. And I got a sponsor and I got that home group. And I take direction today, 17 years later. My sobriety date is April 2nd, 2007. And AA saved my life. Anything positive with love in it came through AA. No question about it. So the only way, and by the way, alcohol and drugs weren't my problem. Lack of power was my problem. I had to find the power which I could live by. And I do that. I have a conscious contact with that power every day. And the only other way I could stop for a little bit is when they threw me in a jail cell. And as soon as I got out of that jail cell, I go right to where we go. Without a doubt. I mean, I did a 3-year stint in New York system, 6-year stint here, then another 6-year one. Every time I got out, right to the bar. You think I would learn after those years, but I didn't. So, but when I came to AA, I saw what people were talking about. They loved me, and they didn't care what I did in my life. And that's why I'm eternally grateful for that. So I'm always available in AA when they call upon me. I've driven to Pittsburgh to speak at some group. I don't know if I do that again, but you know what I mean? That was right after work. It would have dragged. But anyways, so I'm going to tell you my story. You know, I thought I was a gangster, but I was really a punk. That's all I was. I robbed banks, and I got caught, and I went to jail. I robbed those banks. I did this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. I had a phenomenon, craving, obsession of the mind. I couldn't stay stopped. AA showed me how to stay stopped when I came here. I took direction for the first time in my life, and my life got better. Well, how could that be in the beginning? Well, I had a bed in a sober house. I had a job making $7 an hour. Bagging cups in Maui cup, Dunkin' Donut cups, 7-Up cups. My boss was a girl, had Born to Raise Hell on her, tattooed on her. She had one tooth and a mouth like a sailor. And she told me if I couldn't run 2 machines to get the hell out of here. I wanted to sucker punch her. But I didn't. I stayed there, and this would happen for me. I don't like police officer uniforms. My father was a police officer. So was his father. And the other side were firemen. And to tell you the truth, I don't even like the mailman's uniform. It's too close to a police officer. So I mean, I could never listen to anybody till I came here, because I was in despair. So this last time, 2004, they released me. And what happened was I had a whole bunch of charges, a slew of them, in 1998. And I went to court, and the judge, one of those kids for cash judges up there, he accepted a plea from me. The DA offered it. I accepted to get I had about 6 felonies. And they said 11.5 to 23 months in work release. I was jumping up in the courtroom. I'll take it. Sentence me now. He wouldn't sentence me now. He did a sentence report. So I walked back 30 days later into the court. He didn't give me 11.5 to 23 months. He gave me 11 to 22 years. And like my knees buckled. I don't know. It just took the life right out of me. So off to Camp Hill we go. From Camp Hill to the middle of the state, to Housedale. And what I did, every day I went to I knew what they did to me was wrong. So I went to the law library every morning. And after 2.5 years, I found a case exactly like mine. They accepted my plea, and it was a robbery charge too. They accepted my plea in open court. The judge accepted it, and they gave the guy a low full of years. And when the Supreme Court of the United States reversed that, once you plead guilty, the judge accepts it, and the DAs they can't just bang you around like a ping pong ball. So what I did was I had some money in life insurance. I cashed that in. I asked the priest in the jail, who was a Notre Dame priest, who would be a good lawyer that was honest. I said, this is a rough question. And he said Joe Cosgrove. And so I asked someone back in my hometown who would an honest attorney be, and he was a Notre Dame graduate. He said Joe Cosgrove. So I called up Joe Cosgrove. He took all 12 grand, all of it, but he guaranteed he'd get me out. So I had to wait till 5 years, 28 days, and he got me out. I went in front of the judge, and Kids for Cash judge, and he goes, okay, Mr. Fay, what we're going to do, you're leaving today, but we're going to put a tail on you. I already did all the sentences. He gave me 11.5 to 23 immediate work release. I already did that. I did it 5 times over, the 11.5. And he goes, but we're going to give you a year of special probation. I'm going, Joe, tell this guy, I'm done. I'm done with bells going off, standing up, bells going off, go eat, bells going off, go to the yard. I'm done with it. Sick of having cops telling me what to do. It wasn't over yet. He gave me the probation. I never reported. I got drunk after that court date, and I never reported. I met this girl. We went to Florida. Her father had a heart attack. We went to Boonville, New York. That's where she's from. And her father had a logging company. Her brother had a dairy farm. So I said, I don't think they're going to find me down here. So I worked on her brother's dairy farm. My first job was to get on a bobcat every day and push the cow shit out of the barn. It ain't bad once you get used to the smell. So she's working at a restaurant. I'm working there. I'm watching a Yankee game in the spring, I hear. I jump up. I got a beer in my hand. I open the door. It's the Oneida County Sheriffs. And they got a folder. And they said, is this you? Are you Gerald Fay? I said, no, that's not me. I went to close the door. They had me. So they cuffed me. They had me for absconding. That's all they had. I didn't report the probation. And they brought me back. And when I see this Kids for Cash judge, when I'm walking in, he's smiling, man. He can't wait to get a hold of me. I just beat him out of like 11 years. So all I had was failure to report, and he made me do the whole year. They took me to county jail to do the whole year. That's what happened. Sometimes in the past, I made decisions based on self, which later put me in a position to be heard. That's just what happens. I did that to myself. So I'm smart. I get work release. I get 2 job status. I get out of the jail at 4 in the morning, and I don't come back until 3 in the morning. I make windows during the day, and my second shift job was at the county commissioner's sports bar. So I was the cleanup guy, short order cook, and bar back. So I did the whole year there. I set a record for saving money. I had 2 jobs. What am I spending on? Cigarettes. That's about it. And I left there with about 8 grand. And I quit both jobs. They picked me up at midnight. My sentence was over with. And I quit both jobs. I went and got myself a little ride, rented an apartment. Now I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm sick of people telling me what to do. So 60 days, I got 3 more cases. I get evicted out of the apartment. I crashed the car. I mean, it was ridiculous. And because I have this phenomenon of craving, this obsession in my mind, I can't stop once I start. I've done everything to break down with water and throw into my body. But I like hard liquor. I like Jack Daniels or Doer Scotch. And I ended up drinking rot gut vodka and malt liquor. That's how I ended up. I can tell you this. There was 5 of us that used to meet under the South Street Bridge every day. I was homeless then, and some of them were too. Pete McGinnis, Pinky, this guy Pinky, Donnie Walsh, and Neil Hagel. And we throw our money together, we get a half gallon of vodka, and we pass it around and drink it. I'm alive today. They're all dead because I came with you guys. They're all dead. So don't tell me AA doesn't work, it doesn't save lives. I experienced it. And they didn't want to listen. I know, I get it. When I first got here, I didn't really want to listen until I came to AA. I started hearing my story. And I'm not unique. So what happened for me was, I come from a family of 9 kids. My mother was an alcoholic. My father was a hard drinker. But she used to sit in her chair. She didn't really turn alcoholic until she had us all. Then she would sit in her chair and direct us on what to do. And you know, she raised us. I remember. So I'm hanging out on the stoop in my neighborhood, and I'm doing what we do. I'm hanging out with older guys. You know, I'm making money. I'm making more money than my father is. And on the stoop, man, every day. So I'm sitting there one day, my sisters pull up in the car, my 2 older sisters, and they said, "What are you doing? What a waste you are. You look at yourself lately?" And so I said, okay, I'm going to do something. I joined the service. And it was enlightening. So I went overseas, and I ended up in Berlin, Germany, city duty. And they have a duty train out of there. You could reach anywhere for free. From Berlin to Frankfurt. You get anywhere from Frankfurt, anywhere in Europe by train. And I never came home on leave. I found this place, Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. And 1 liter of Heineken, that's where they make Heineken, cost 1 guilder. It was 50 cents. I have arrived, man. I have arrived. And there was a whole lot of other things there, trust me. So I get out of service, and I come home. I think my little sister was in 8th grade. She was 13, and she used to come home for lunch. And I was like sleeping it off one night. I was home like maybe 4 or 5 days. She wakes me up and she said, something's wrong with my mother was an epileptic. And the landing going upstairs, my mother fell. And she was going into seizure after seizure. So I called 911. And I rode the ambulance to the hospital with her. And she was so drunk, she was taking the wrong medication. And they took a routine chest x-ray, and she had a baseball-sized tumor in her lung. And she came home a couple days later, and she had to go back in for surgery. She never woke up. This beautiful woman, and she was beautiful. And she turned into this horrible 90-pound wreck. I could hardly even identify. And when I think of that, I don't want to end up like that. And you'll figure that out when I tell you the end of my story here. So I went on the biggest run after that you could imagine. I wanted to numb my feelings. I didn't think about my brothers and sisters, only about me, what I was going through. Couldn't be of service to my family. I couldn't even be, nobody but me. Self-bondage had me in its grip. So I go on this run. Tell me, I got friends just like me, and worse. And one day, this kid, Donnie McLeod and Billy Gottenberg, they're both dead. They asked me if I wanted to go shoot pool at the Hippodrome in downtown Buffalo. That's where I'm from, Western New York. Born right on the Canadian border. So I go, and on the way there, Donnie says, we got to make a stop on the west side at this gas station. We're from the south side. So we pull over trunk cracks. He gets a shopping bag out of the trunk. He goes into this gas station. I see him talking to some dude. And then the driver, Billy Gomber, says, he goes, that guy's a cop. All of a sudden, out of every cops on motorcycles and cars, guns pointed through he just sold the guy 5 pounds of alcohol in a dry form. You know what I'm saying? I knew nothing about what this guy's doing, so there I go. I'm going to jail. They handcuff us to taking. Here's the thing. I had a problem with a gambler in my neighborhood. He's running his mouth, and he said he was going to hurt somebody in my family. So I got a 32 American Bulldog, and had it in a holster under my down jacket, and I'm in the back seat with these detectives, and we're riding. This one cop goes, is Jake Fay your father? I said, yeah, he's my father. He said, pull over, man. He's a cop. Pull him over. And the young narc said, no, everybody's going. So when we got into headquarters and they found that gun, my hair, I thought they were going to rip the hair out of my head, this cop. But there I go, Sunrise Court. My father shows up. I didn't burn that bridge yet. He posted my bail, and then a couple months later he says, I had a conspiracy to deliver in a possession of a pistol. And it was like second front page news in our neighborhood, man. It's crazy. Today, it wouldn't even make it. So he said, you got to go and face the music. You got to pull up your big boy pants today. I didn't want to. But I went, and the judge gave me 3 years. And I went to a place right down, like 8 miles from Buffalo, Attica. And it wasn't my fondest memory. And after about 6 months, I got out of there and went to a place called Napanock in the Catskills. And it was that was crazier. You think something could be crazier in Attica? There is. And it was all the 4 boroughs in New York City in this place. And pretty wild. But I got out of there, and I'm going to tell you what happened for me. The first day I'm out of that jail, where do you think I went? I was down on the stoop with them guys, doing what we do. And it's the only life I really knew or I wanted to be in. And about a week later, here come my sisters pulling up in the car again. And they say, well, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? And you're on a collision course with a long prison sentence. They're probably right. Because, you know, once the citations are gone, probation's gone, that judge ain't even playing no more. You're going away. That's it. And they hooked us up with my brother in Prosperity, Pennsylvania. My brother ran a construction warehouse for his father-in-law. This is what my brother did for me. 4 years older than me. Gave me a trailer, a pickup truck, a job, a credit card, and 2 dogs in a half-acre of land out in the woods. It took me 19 months to screw that up. I burned that down. You can put me anywhere on the planet. You know, when anyone anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA to be there. What I've learned is if you don't want help, you can't help that person. You just can't. Can't do it. We don't push product reform or evangelize. It took me a long time for my sponsor. He said, you can't help them if they don't want it. You just can't. You're defeating your purpose. So that's what I know. You know what I mean? So, I finally wanted help. But it was going to take a little longer. And my brother did everything he could for me, man. And I just didn't want what he wanted to give me. I manipulated and took what he gave me until I burned it down. And so you put me anywhere on this planet, and I want what I want, I'm going to get it. I want a pistol, I know where to go to get it. So I did. On Flag Day 1983, I jumped the counter at the First Federal Savings and Loan of Pittsburgh, and I made a withdrawal. 18 grand. I hit the tables. I had the table time. They come out, put the money in the drawers. I had all that, ran out of there. So check this out. I had a stolen car. I got a hood up and a ski mask on. I get as a Toyota Tercel, brand new. I stole it from the airport. I started to take off. Here's two girls, good citizens, are going to chase me. There he goes. And they jump in their Colors Supreme. I'm going up Main Street, Washington, PA, over 100 miles an hour, and they're staying with me. I'm saying, this is crazy. So I know this turn. It's uphill coming up. Both feet up on the brake. I fishtail. I go up the hill. I look in the mirror. They didn't make it. They went right through the storefront. I go park the car. It was close by my apartment. I was living with 2 nursing students. I always land in stupid places. I don't know if it's called stupid. It was kind of lucky for a guy like me. So I got away with that for 6 days. So I'm out one night, Bassett Town, in this place, Hungry Jose's, and I'm doing what we do, man. I got a pocket full of money. This is what 10 grand looks like in your pocket in $100 bills. So that's what I'm buying everybody drinks. So I'm lit, right? I come down the street. I see a guy talking into a car, and I see the cuff. I know, uh-oh, the jig might be up. So I go up the stairs of the apartment, and the door opens, and there's a dude with a folder again, the cop. I'm like, no, that's not me. So I look in the apartment. 2 girls are on the couch, and their makeup's running. I know I'm screwed. They told on me, so there I go. Ended up with another, this time was 6 years. And I know God had this planned all through my life. He knew what an idiot I was. So I ended up, I go to Pittsburgh. That's where you used to go, to Camp Hill or Pittsburgh, depending on which side. I was close to Pittsburgh. I went there. From there, they send you somewhere. They gave you a choice. I had Huntington, Greater Ford, or Dallas. They don't do that anymore. They make sure from all the escapes you're halfway across the state. So I go to Dallas, and I'm not a dummy. I got a job in a school teaching guys their GED. Because they put it on your prescription plan to get out. You got to have your GED. So I'm teaching these guys. The job opens up in the Catholic chapel. And the clerk for the priest. He was a Notre Dame guy at King's College. So I worked for him, and I left there, and I got married, got a good job with the steel workers. I was an usher in my church, a union officer. Everything was good. I wasn't using or drinking at that time. But here's the deal. Here's the truth of it. I got married to have kids. And I married a girl I just wasn't in love with. And after like 3 years, I got drunk one night. And she was real angry with me that I got drunk. And I said, give me a couple Alka-Seltzers in the morning and a couple of Tylenol. She comes and she's smiling. She gives it to me and I drink the water. She goes, you know where that was water out of the fish tank. Wow, man, that's great, you know? So after it was downhill, I couldn't wait to leave her. I love them kids. She was pregnant. We had 2 kids, beautiful kids. Every day after work, I'd take them to the park with their bikes and let them run around. That was my life. And the guilt I had, I wanted to leave her. I just couldn't do it. But I finally did, and I took my truck and my tools, and I left her 20 grand in a brand new Buick. I felt that would heal how I was feeling, but it didn't. It just happens for me. I work part-time in this gym, and I met a girl there that was unhappy with her marriage, and I was just a mass manipulator, and she was worth $20 million. Her husband was an ex-Winston Cup champion, and I moved in with her. And I stayed with her for 6 years. And she tried with me. She told me, quit hating and start loving. I was full of hate and anger, man. And today, I remember I went out one Friday, and sometimes I wouldn't come back for a few days. I said, what time's dinner? She said, 6 o'clock. If you're not back here by then, don't come back. And I didn't hear that. I heard, don't be late. Because she said it to me plenty. So I come back a couple days later. My bags are packed. She meant it. You can't be fired. You're never hired, she said. You got to go. So I had to go. So I'm out in the world again. I got money. I got a brand new truck. But I'm doing like runs to Philadelphia and Manhattan. Crazy. I had 20 rolls, $100 bills, rubber bands around 1,020 of them in a safety deposit box. And I was going there and getting them. I was so lit up when I went out one Monday, all that was left was rubber bands. There was no money left. So then I start burning up credit cards and debit cards, and just that's how it goes. So I'm drinking Triple Jacks and Sprite in the pool at the Grand Wali in Maui. 90 days later, I'm homeless under the South Street Bridge drinking malt liquor. That's where I go. It's quick, man. Put the throttle down, I go. And once I pick it up, 14 days one time, I never slept. And figured that one out. And so it got this phenomenon of craving. It's like they're so on the nailhead with that, because I'm living proof of that. And so I finally came here. I take direction, and I still take it. So what happened for me was I go see this guy. I'm working construction now. One bus ride downtown Scranton. This jail guard, who's the president of the union now, sends me to see this guy. I go from $7 an hour, a union card, and I'm making $28 an hour. I'm gonna tell you the truth, I didn't even like this guy. But he saw something in me, he said. He said, are you done with the drugs and alcohol? I said, yeah. He said, are you done with being arrested? I said, yeah. He said, go see this guy. Boom, I got that job. I needed that job. And I had a lot of child support, like unbelievable, like 14 grand in child support, over 20 grand in court costs. I paid all that off. Paid all that off because you guys showed me how to do it. How to be of service to my people about me, how to help a drunk, how to help an addict. So I go see this guy named Tom O'Hara. He's the president of King's at the time. He's a Notre Dame priest. Right now he's the head of all the congregations of the Holy Cross in the United States. Nice guy. So I go and see him. I said, I got this 2-year degree in a joint. And I said, I'd like to further. He goes, let's kneel down and pray. Right in his office, we get down and we pray, man. I felt the presence of God that day. He gives me his card. He goes, go see this guy. I go see this guy. He's a vice president, student, whoever he was. They give me a scholarship to King's College. I took it, I went. So I'm lit up with the program, and I want to be a counselor in a rehab. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? So please, Lord, help me be this counselor. So I interned at Clearbrook. I don't know if you know where that is. It's a rehab down my way. I interned there, and I graduate. I work at Pocono Mountain Recovery Center, and I work at Cedar Residence. I get hired at White Deer Run, but I don't go. So this is what happens. Sometimes God's got to give you something to show you don't want it. And I really didn't want to sit in front of a computer. I wouldn't mind being a facilitator, but not a counselor. So I have a spiritual advisor, Mercy Nunn. She's spoke fluent Spanish. She was in El Salvador when it was hot, and she's a missionary. And she told me you need to start your own recovery houses. So I had about 13 grand saved, 14 grand. I went to a tax sale, and I bought 2 houses for like 13 grand. I lived in one, and I started a recovery house in the other. As I went along, I said that prayer, God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me as thy will. Relieve me of the bondage of self so I can better do thy will. Take away my difficulties so victory over them will bear witness to those that would help with thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. To build with me. So that one house turned into 2. 2 turned into 3. Then 3 turned into 4. Then I had 5. 10 years I had 5 houses, and life is good, man. I'm going to tell you. And but this is what happens for me. I'm running all those houses. That's all I did. Go to AA meetings and circle around, see them houses every day to make sure. I don't think they run them like that. One time someone said something about, I pissed everybody. Everybody had to take a urine. One kid came back hot. How did I do that? I wake them up at 5 in the morning and tell them it's time to pee in a cup. Everybody got to go to the bathroom when they first wake up. And they have to do it one-handed. You know what I'm saying? Because all this stuff, you're reaching for some urine from somewhere. So, I don't know if you've never had 30 beds I had. It's stressful. Like, found one kid hanging. Ain't the cutest sight I ever seen. Another kid wrapped tie wire around himself and tied it around his headrest of his truck, and he did a big shot. And we found him, he was dead. And there's great things in AA that happen, but I was in the trenches, man. My friend Jimmy C said, you got to get in the trenches. So I got in the trenches, But this would happen for me. I had a stroke. At an AA meeting, I had a stroke. And I'm saying, I knew I shared it, and I was slurring my speech. And I got up, and I said, I got to go home. So I go home. 2 of my friends follow me. And I kept leaning to the right. And I'm sitting on my couch, I turn on the TV, these guys show up, and they say, you don't look too good. You want to go to the emergency room? I said, I'll sleep it off. I'm going to sleep off a stroke, right? I don't think so. So they take me, they put me on a camera to Hershey. I had a stroke. I had to have speech therapy and physical therapy for 6 months. I had to give up them houses. But this is what happened. I didn't have insurance. My spiritual advisor, that Mercy Nun, lived right across the street from Misericordia, she got me in there for 6 months for free for speech therapy and physical therapy. If that's not God's grace in my life, I don't know what is. So, she just passed. This lady was like 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, marathon runner. And she was 94 when she passed. She had bladder cancer and she refused treatment. Wow. That's a soldier, man. And she's the only person who could tell me to shut up, and I would. We're having lunch, and she's trying to block me talking. She said, shut up. I said, all right. So I shut up. But I was blessed with her in my life. She was never wrong, never. It was always love and kindness and turn the other cheek. I ain't that guy. She had some putty for me, She had to work on me, man. I'm not that love and kindness guy. I am now somewhat compassionate and empathy, but when I first got here, I wasn't. I remember I just had some resentments that would not go away, man. She gave me this Buddhist prayer. She was into that Zen meditation. She had me doing Zen for 3 years. And this prayer, this resentments finally went away. You know, my wife, ex-wife, man. I'll tell you, she had child support on speed dial. So, but all I can say is, as much as she put a bad taste in my mouth, she raised them kids beautiful. My daughter and 2 sons, 2 of them graduated from college, one's in the post office. And she did a good job. I'm going to give her that. So, here I am with this stroke, and I know I can't handle these houses no more. Not the way I want to handle them. So I've tried a couple of people. Every time I tried to have someone help me, they robbed me. Just made off with the money, a couple of grand. So that's dead. I'm not doing that anymore. It's too, you get too angry. So, but today I said I'd never be sober houses again. I do. I'm in with some guys. We got 3 of them. But I'm just like, I sit in the sidelines. I'm a consultant. That's all I am. I'll share my experience. You know, every now and then they call me and they send me a check. I put up 25 grand and I'm retired today. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm retired. My life is banging, man. Like me and my buddy Joey, I just went to North Carolina for 2 weeks. And he just went out west. We went to the last 3 Grateful Dead concerts in Chicago. We flew out there. And we had a blast, man. Who'd be seeing that bar? Hot Tuna? Leftover Sam. So we had a blast. We go to Asheville, North Carolina for the Christmas Jam. Warren Haynes for Habitat for Humanity. We go down there. It's cool, man. They got this little section of the stage set up for a band. And when, like, say, Bob Ware's playing, then Michael McDonald is going to come up next. That band starts when they're changing equipment. It was 9 hours of straight music. So I loved it there. I mean, we skydive. I mean, we do some pretty fly stuff. And my life is good. I don't know what to say, but so this is what happens, man. Bill Wilson was so smart when he said, sometime in the past, I made decisions based on self, which later put me in a position to be hurt. No one ever tied me down and poured alcohol down my throat. It was all decisions I made. So I had a complete shoulder arthroplasty. My shoulder's plastic and metal. I do everything to the extreme. And then a stroke. Then they had to insert a valve through my femoral artery and put it in my heart. It's amazing what they can do today. They can take a valve, put it in your femoral artery, work it up to your heart, pin the bad valve against the wall of your heart and start it. Amazing, isn't it? But I still got to go to AA. Can't solve this shit? You can do that. Put men on the moon, but so they give me this valve, and you know, I'm doing what I do. I can't, the arthroplasty, I can't lift anything over 15 pounds. No push-ups, no chin-ups, nothing overhead. So I do cardio. So I'm strolling along. I'm doing all right. And this doctor I have, he's pretty cool, Huntington, and he started sending me for MRIs and CAT scans. I don't want no sympathy either. Just things I did. This is all self-inflicted. And they find a tumor in my liver. I have liver cancer. But I'm on a transplant list. So I go in do the femoral artery again, and they go in there and they're going to kill the artery that's supplying blood to the tumor. So I'm saying, I hope this works. It didn't. It didn't work. Half the tumor was still there. So I went in 2 weeks later, through the femoral artery again, and that shit's getting worn out. It's real. After you have it, you got to sit still for 4 hours. You ever tried doing that? That's hard, man. So they give me radiation, and they kill it. I get the blood work, the tumor marker, no tumor. MRI, it's not there. 3 months later, MRI, it's clear. Just had it a month ago. Now I go for one September 28th. I'm on the transplant list. I waived it. I'll accept the liver with Hep C because I can cure that. But here's my question. Up to this point, until they found the liver, no one said nothing about no transplant. Now they want to. That's a heavy surgery. They split you down the middle and take your liver and give you another one? I don't know. There's people like Bob Ware, it's like 20 years with a liver. Or Phil Lesh. So I waived it. I'm on it. I just talked to the lady. It's going to be a little while. But I'm all for a new liver, man. But, so I'm blessed today. Without a doubt in my mind. So life is good today. I'm sitting here with you people. That's all I can say is that I was at this place at Joey's. We used to have these mini conferences, and it was Tom Flynn. I don't know if you knew Tom Flynn from Baltimore. This guy was magical, man. He's like 25 years sober. We're standing by the fire. It was October. And he looks at me. He says, start asking God to show you the way to help your kids. Help his kids. And I started doing that. And my life changed. It changed. That's when the sober houses came into play. I still remember it, man. Then I read, Bill Wilson said, ask in your morning meditation what you can do for the next sick man. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But you can't possibly transmit anything you don't have. See that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. That's what happened for me. Every morning I ask him to show me the way to help his kids. I do my 11th step, the 12-step prayer on my 11th step, asking God to show me the way to help his kids. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But today I'm happy with who I am. I'm free. I walk this planet a free man. And I had a joke for y'all, but Ron said to keep it clean, so I can't tell it. All right. But you'd laugh 3 times harder than that if I told it. So, but what I want to say is thank you for having me, and y'all have a good night. God bless everybody.
All right, everybody. Again, my name's Brian, and I'm an alcoholic. First and foremost, I want to thank Jerry for coming out here tonight and delivering an incredible message of hope and recovery to our group here. A couple quick announcements, and we'll wrap it up here. Again, the food and the fellowship for this group starts at 8 o'clock. Feel free to show up early and join us. If you want to get involved with some service work for this group, there's a lot of moving parts to keep this meeting going, so we would appreciate that. If you, there's always the meeting after the meeting, so if you want to hang out with us, grab somebody after the meeting. If you want to help us out with some service work, putting away some chairs, we always got to put away the chairs, so we appreciate some help with that. It is customary for us to thank our speakers. They do come here on their own time and expense, so we usually form a line in the front here and thank our speakers personally. You can ask Jerry what the joke would have been personally after that. I want to thank everybody for helping out tonight with the group. I want to thank our greeters, our readers, everybody for helping setting up and breaking down the meeting. Thanks to Ed and Howard in the back for taking care of the kitchen. But most importantly, let's thank Jerry one more time for coming out tonight. And if you do care to join us, we have a nice way of closing. And we'll close the meeting down with a brief moment of silence for the still sick and suffering alcoholic inside and outside of these rooms, followed by our Lord's Prayer. Our Father,